It's Kelly with Sensorhub, and in this video I have 6 new features that you can try right now in your Sensorhub account. First one, custom voices. Go to data, voices. Voices are brand voices that you can use to personalize your drafts when you respond to Reddit, LinkedIn, or X conversations. They are extremely effective into helping you bring your own twist on the conversation and use your own tone, style, and voice. You can choose whether to use your own voice or someone from your team or a customer user persona. Enter the name of the voice. Let's go with Kalo. Select the role. Sensorhub will then come up with a set of questions that help us understand better your voice, and based on the answers of these questions, we will pre-populate the voice for you. It takes a couple of minutes because we personalize that for every single project. And once you see the answers, you can select between a couple of options or enter your own option. So in my case, how it decided to ask me how to usually reformat my Reddit replies. I go with short and punchy. A casual greeting. How do you show expertise without sounding like a salesperson? I'd like to draw specific numbers or industry data points. How do you prefer to bring up Sensorhub in a conversation? Only dropping the name with explicit ask for the 2 recommendations. Using a disclaimer, I like to do that. Suggesting is just one piece of a larger workflow strategy, and I also like to mention competitors. What kind of vibe do you want to replies to have? I'd prefer to be helpful, friendly, and a bit of a data nerd. Again, it takes a couple of minutes to create that personalized voice. And once it's done, you will be able to, of course, make changes to it. You can make changes to your background, style, tone, and give it even specific instructions. And those instructions could be very specific. For example, you can define, I want to answer in this specific way to this specific type of conversations and in another way to another type of conversation. So you can make changes, save that here, and then when you go to signals, now you can respond with your own voice. So let's go to a hot lead conversation. How do you track Reddit keywords with minimum noise? I can use the voice name, Kalo head of growth, select the voice name, generate the AI draft. And what we found is that responses are significantly better than the generic AI responses that you would get. And you can see here, it didn't mention Sensorhub specifically, but it has provided some specific instructions on what subreddits to check, whether to track broad versus intentional, and other helpful information. The second feature that I'd like to show you here is the relevancy scoring. So as you know, there's a relevancy score for each thread, which is defined based on the information that we've managed to gather from your website. With the relevancy scoring, you can instruct our agent on how topics are relevant or irrelevant. For each of the threads, we give a number of topics related to that thread, and then you can score those between 15%, minus 15%, and plus 15% for relevancy score. For example, reducing alert fatigue is pretty important for us, so I'll give it a 10% increase. Social monitoring precision is extremely important to us, so I've increased by 15%. Readily qualification is extremely important again. Keyword filtering strategies, not so important, so reduced by 5%, and replacing legacy tools, a bit important. Based on those scoring mechanism, it shows us preview impact. It gives us similar related conversations and how they will be impacted. In this case, it didn't manage to find any related signals. Once I confirm that, the mechanism, the algorithm, the agent will learn based on your instructions and will score any future threads based on your instructions. If you want to make any changes, you can do that under data relevancy, and you can delete or add additional instructions. And one interesting and very effective way to add additional instructions is to add the rules for example, which means that I can copy and paste a Reddit topic or X or LinkedIn topic and specify rules based on that thread. So it doesn't have to be a signal that we found. It could be something that is relevant to you. And for example, you want to focus on this specific type of conversation, which is also signal sourcing, extremely important for us in this case. So I will also score this topic as well and save another rule here. The third feature that I'd like to show you is keywords. Keywords give you control to receive signals that include the exact match of the specific keyword or keywords. In that case, I want to see conversations that mention Redshift, one of our competitors. This is extremely helpful when for some reason you want to target keywords that are not necessarily mentioned on your website, because Sensorhub is basing all of our signal relevancy on the information that you have on your existing website. But let's say you're launching a new feature, or you're entering a new space, or you're pivoting to a new audience. Maybe you want to target something that's not explicitly mentioned on your live website. Once you do that, Sensorhub will take a couple of minutes to find and tag the existing keywords, the existing signals with the keyword, and also start looking for new conversations that mention that specific keyword. You will start receiving notifications as soon as a new conversation is found that mentions that keyword. And in the filter setting, you can see the specific, you can see the conversations that are mentioning the specific keyword. In that case, my competitor Redshift. I see here a lot of posts that are actually coming up from Redshift. So that's one way you can also do competitive analysis and see what your competitors are doing. And there's another one which is pretty good. With what I've learned experimenting with Reddit is a growth channel. They also mention here, I believe, Redshift and also Reddit, which is another competitor. So very helpful, and you can add or delete those at the later stage if you decide to. And when we talk about signals, we also have a very, very handy feature that I personally would take a lot of advantage of, and this is the option to save filters. So for example, I want to see all Reddit hot leads that do not have a specific keyword from the last 12 hours, or let's give it a bit of a bigger time frame so we get some conversations. I can save that filter, hot leads from Reddit, and then I can reuse that filter. I don't have to scroll here and click through the different types of filters. Those saved filters will be here for you to select whenever you want to use them. You can add as many filters as you want, and of course you can also delete them or restore the default filters. Another feature that I'd like to talk about, also in the space of project management and convenience, is our mini CRM feature. Now you can select the status of a specific signal, and this helps you understand and keep track of what you've done in the past and what you plan to do. So this one, for example, is something that I want to respond to at the later stage, so I'd mark as to do. And then of course later through the filters I can also filter for those specific conversations, and you can also create save filters. You can create a filter for to do, for in progress, or done, and you can easily access those conversations. This is extremely handy when you want to also outsource that information to let's say a VA or someone else from your team and just give them the signals that they need to respond to. Another feature, view similar signals. Now, most conversations that we find, we also give you similar conversations, and this is very handy. If you find something extremely relevant, you can just go here, click on that, click on similar signals, and you can see related conversations, and you can just go on and respond to these related conversations. It's just another tool, another way to find the most relevant signals for you. And last but not least, well, actually there's a couple more. The first one, I'll first reset the filters, is the ability to score by popularity, which is very helpful if you want to target threads that are currently trending and if you want to be involved in that conversation. There's also a more likely chance for these conversations to show up in LLMs and SEO engines. So that's just another way for you to find more relevant and timely conversations that are also currently popping up. And now, last but not least, we are also launching an MCP server. Very easy to connect, just copy and paste the API key into your LLM of choice that supports MCP servers. We give you all the data that we have generated. So we give you the data for the signals, we give you the data for the replies, the drafts, and we also give you our own agent, which is Genie, and you can talk to that agent directly from LM. In that case, you can see here I'm using Claude Chat. I've connected to the Sensorhub connector. Make sure to mention Sensorhub when you ask it a question. And you can see here I've asked the question for one of my previous projects, and I asked it to show me all threads and signals that are related to that competitor. Specifically to all competitors, but specifically to start with this one, and you can see the response is very detailed. It gives you also all of the links, all of the data that we have for the signal, with also an overlay of information that comes up straight from the LM. So I hope you find this useful. If you need a trial extension, send an email to support@sensorhub.ai or just click in the email if you're seeing this video from the email. I'd love to get your feedback on this and see you in the next update.